Hey guys, welcome back to the part 2 of our ranking tier system for the game Dead by Daylight for the Survivor perks. So pretty much at the moment we're going to be just kind of continuing on. Didn't expect the video of course to be so long. But of course the amount of perks in this game, you can definitely talk a lot of detail into each perk. So part 1 itself was about 34 minutes long, so if you did watch that and watched all the way through, thank you so much. And of course any sort of support, whether it's a like, comment or subscription to the channel as well, is very appreciative. But yeah guys, definitely got a lot of perks to cover here, but we're going to continue on. Continuing on, of course, we have the next perk, which is going to be Decisive Strike right here. So this perk itself, a lot to say for it. So basically, after being unhooked or unhooking yourself, Decisive Strike activates for the next 40, 50 or 60 seconds, depending on the tier as well of your perk. When being grabbed or picked up by the killer, succeed a skill check to automatically escape their grasp, stunning them for 5 seconds. So this is a very great perk. 100% hands down, probably going to put this perk at A tier. If not, you could put it in the S tier arguably. It's definitely an amazing perk by all means. So sorry. Also, while Decisive Strike is active, the following interactions, however, will deactivate: repairing a gen, healing yourself or others, cleansing or blessing a totem, sabotaging a hook, unhooking other survivors. So it's a very great perk in terms of being able to escape and having another possibility of not being, hooked. And there's a lot of perks out there that do allow you to get that extra life, but definitely a great perk. Alrighty, the next one's going to be Deliverance. So Deliverance is after performing a safe hook rescue on another survivor, Deliverance activates. Your self-unhook attempts will succeed at 100% of the time. Deliverance causes the broken status effect for 100, 80 or 60 seconds after unhooking yourself. So pretty much this is going to allow you to safely unhook yourself without any sort of ramifications. So however, probably going to put this perk into either C or D tier. Probably just going to sit into D tier for now though. Alrighty, so we got the next one is going to be Desperate Measures. So you refuse to fail even during your darkest hour, which increases healing and unhooking speeds by 10, 12 or 14% for each injured, hooked or dying survivor, up to a maximum of 40, 48 or 56%. So doesn't seem like a horrible perk, by all means. However, probably going to set this perk into F tier. Could be even higher though. It's definitely not a bad perk by all means. You do get quite a bit out of it, but it's not something that I personally really, kind of gain or benefit from or use a lot. So going to set that into F tier for now. Alrighty, so the next one's going to be Detective's Hunch. So each time a generator is completed, the aura of any generator's chests and totems within 32, 48 or 64 meters are revealed to you for 10 seconds. And if you are holding a map, any objects revealed by Detective's Hunch will automatically be tracked by it. So definitely a very great perk in terms of getting intel for where, things are throughout the map. So I'm probably going to set this perk into C tier. If not D though. But yeah, not a bad perk by all means. So the next one's going to be Distortion. So you start the trial with 4 tokens with this perk, and whenever the killer attempts to read your aura, Distortion activates and a token is consumed. Your aura will not be shown to the killer, and you will not leave any scratch marks for the next 6, 8 or 10 seconds. So it's not a bad perk by all means. You can definitely see there being a lot of use out of it. Probably just going to put this one into C, if not D, for now. I haven't really experimented too much with it though, but I might just put it into F for now. So the next one's going to be Diversion. So standing within the killer's terror radius while not in chase for 40, 35 or 30 seconds activates Diversion. Once Diversion is activated, you press the active ability button while crouched and motionlessly throws a pebble, creating a distraction for the killer at a distance of 20 meters. So you can see it being a great perk because it will create a loud noise, it will create scratch marks. However, you can definitely see that, you know, while not in chase for 40, 35 or 30 seconds, that's when it activates. So it's quite a lot of time that you need to build up before you can actually use this perk. So I'm probably going to put this perk into D tier. Alrighty. Next one's going to be Deja Vu. So this is not a bad perk by all means. For this perk in particular, the auras of 3 generators in closest proximity to one another are revealed to you for 30, 45 or 60 seconds at the start of the trial, and each time a generator is completed. So you can definitely see that the argue with this perk would be only getting the benefit of at the start of the trial. So, however, it does state that you can still benefit from it throughout the trial. Probably going to put this perk into D tier. You know, getting that knowledge of where generators, of course, is definitely going to be important, but it's definitely something that's not essential, however. Alrighty, empathy. Definitely a good perk, so probably going to put empathy in B tier for a few reasons. So there's a perk that you get with Claudette called empathy, botany knowledge, and self-care. There's going to be a little more talk in the self-care, but empathy in particular is good because it basically shows the aura of survivors in the injured state or in the dying state within 64, 96 or 128 meters of your location. And the reason why this is a really good perk is because if your teammates escape the chase, and he's struggling and he's looking for a heal or something like that, and he doesn't have a med kit or a boon circle of healing perk equipped, or no one in your team has boon circle of healing, and obviously there's no other way he can heal unless it's from you or from getting a med kit, there's going to be a really great perk in terms of being able to run over and help him heal if he's in close proximity or nearby. So you can definitely run over and help him, and then he can always get back in and get into the chase again. So yeah, would 100% probably put this perk into B tier. So the next one is going to be Fast Track. Sometimes the sacrifice of others is necessary to get ahead. It's a bit of a selfish perk, I guess, reading that. But whenever another survivor is hooked, Fast Track gains 1, 2, 3 tokens, up to a maximum of 9, 18 or 27. You consume all tokens after a great skill check on a generator. Each token grants a stackable 1% progression bonus in addition to the default progression bonus for succeeding a great skill check. So, doesn't sound horrible, but like you get a use from it, but to me it doesn't seem beneficial that much. There's a lot of other perks out there that are really good. For an example, this perk here is actually going to be something that we're going to have to go back on and have a look at. Don't know too much about it, but yeah. So the next one's going to be Flashbang. So I'm going to put Flashbang into C tier. It's not a bad perk. So with this perk in particular, after repairing generators for a total of 70, 60 or 50%, Flashbang activates. Enter a locker while empty-handed and press the ability button to craft a flash grenade. So basically what it's going to do is you're going to craft a flash grenade, you're going to be able to throw this and it's going to, I believe, will stun / blind the killer. It's definitely a decent perk by all means. Of course, you got to, however, find a locker to gain from this, and you're also going to be repairing generators to also benefit from this perk. So it's a situational perk. It's not a bad perk, but it's still very situational. Alrighty, so the next one's going to be Flip Flop. While in the dying state, 50% of your recovery progression is converted into wiggling progression, up to a maximum of 40, 45, or 50% once you are picked up by the killer. Probably just going to put this perk into F tier. There's definitely other like perks that are very similar to this that are definitely more beneficial or a lot better. But yeah. Alrighty, so the next perk is going to be for the people. So this perk is pressing the active ability button while healing another survivor without a medkit to instantly heal them 1 health state. You also become the obsession from this as well. So for the people, causes the broken status effect for 80, 70 or 60 seconds after using it, depending on the tier. So if your teammate, the reason why this perk is going to be good though, is if your teammate's actually like been injured, of course, and you're not carrying a medkit, so not carrying a medkit is what's going to benefit the most for this perk in particular. If your teammate's been injured and you're fully health, you're being able to instantly heal them 1 health state up to full health again instantly without having to do much. So it's a very good situational perk that you can use to help out your teammates. But yeah. Alrighty, so the next one's going to be Guardian. Where is Guardian? It's hiding. It's hiding from me. I thought I saw it 2 seconds ago though. Alrighty. I can't believe I can't find it. This is probably like looking at it and you're going like it's right there, it's right in front of you, but yeah, I'm not seeing it. Where is it? It's out of my head. Pretty sure it's meant to be one of these perks down here. Not too sure where it is. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I might just have to come back to it if I can't find it for now, but that's fine. Alrighty, we'll just move on. So the next perk is going to be Head On. With this perk in particular, if you're standing in a locker for 3 seconds, this perk will activate. So when performing a rushed action to leave a locker, stun the killer for 3 seconds if they are within range. So I'm going to put this perk into A tier. The reason for this though is you just need to remember one thing. This perk in particular is going to use the exhausted status effect, like Dead Hard is going to, like Adrenaline's going to, and there's going to be more perks like it. This perk is good, so it's going to just, if you're in a locker itself and you know the kill's coming up, you can easily just perform a rushed action which is going to leave the locker. You're going to stun the killer for 3 seconds, you're going to be able to gain more range, more meters away from him, so it's a very good perk in terms of safety. If there's nothing like any pallets or vaults or anything like that nearby, you can easily just jump into a locker, have the killer come up to you, and then easily leave the locker and stun him. So yeah, it's a good perk. Alrighty, the next one's going to be Hope, which is right down here. Hope. I'm probably going to put this perk in F tier. It's not a bad perk by all means, but it's... Alrighty, continuing on guys, we're going to be doing the perk Hope. So Hope I'm going to put in F tier of course. The reason for this is because it's a endgame perk once again. Kind of just like Adrenaline. Adrenaline though, you gain a lot more from it. Hope itself is going to be when you have the exit gates powered, you gain a 5, 6 or 7% haste status effect for 2 minutes. 2 minutes is definitely a lot. The speed increase is obviously going to be a lot as well, but For the most part, of course, it's a endgame perk. You gain a little from it, not too much, and it's definitely the biggest thing is with this perk is it's going to take up one of your 4 perk slots when you can easily put in other perks and substitute from it and get a lot more out of those perks. So yeah, 100% going to put this perk into F tier. Alrighty, moving on, guys. We are going to be having the perk. Where is it? If I can find it, would be really nice. I was going to do inner healing next, but I don't think I can find it again. But that's okay if I can't. Inner healing. I don't think I've gone past it. That's okay, we'll move on, of course. So the next one we're going to do is Iron Will. So Iron Will is it's a very used perk from Jake. It's definitely a good perk as well, by all means. Probably going to put this into the B tier, kind of like with Bite the Bullet, etc. Because with this perk, basically lowers the volumes of grunts of pain by 50, 75, or 100%. So the biggest thing with this perk, again, so I'm going to put it in B tier and not in AOS, is because it's a situational perk. So if some killers aren't playing with game volume, which again, some people don't, there's going to be a perk that's going to be wasted. So yeah, 100% going to put it in B tier. Don't believe it should be lower. But at the same time, you could argue for it to be possibly in A, but for now, going to leave it in B. Alrighty, the next one we're going to do is Kindred. So, without a doubt, Kindred I'm going to put into S tier. So, the reason for this is it's a very, very an amazing perk and I always use it 90% of the time. So, this perk is while you specifically are hooked, the aura of all survivors are revealed to one another. So, the reason why this is an amazing perk is if you're hooked, the survivors are going to see each other, so they're going to know if all 3 of them are on generators or if all 3 are wasting each other's time, and they're going to go and try and unhook you. So you can just instantly kind of plan ahead whether you should be the one to get off the gen or whether you should stay on the gen or whether you should be the one to go and unhook or, you know, stuff like that. You can get so much from this perk, and that's only one part of it. So the next thing is whenever the kill is within a 8, 12 or 16 meters of your hook, their aura is revealed to all survivors as well. So again, these survivors are going to gain so much from it. They can plan around, they can play around the killer's aura if they're in close proximity, without even having to actually physically see them. So it's a great perk for your teammates, but you also benefit from it. So while any other survivor is hooked, the aura of all survivors are revealed to you specifically, and whenever the kill is within an 8, 12 or 16 meters of the hooked survivor, their aura is revealed to you. So that's also very beneficial for when you're trying to go and unhook any other survivor too. So you can imagine that Kindred's going to play very well with borrowed time as well, for an example. Alrighty, moving on. Kinship, which is right here. So, Kinship, where would I put Kinship? So while you're on a hook in the struggle phase, which is the last phase, Kinship activates if another survivor is within 16 meters of your hook. While Kinship is active, the struggle phase timer is paused. So this is going to be one of those endgame perks once again, because you got to get to that third struggle phase, or the third phase. So I would probably put this perk into D, if not F, because it's a great perk on paper, but you got to get to that third phase. You know, if you don't, then it's going to be a wasted perk. It does pause the timer for 26, 30 or 34 seconds, which is a long time, so then your teammates can get there, play around it. It's definitely not a bad perk by all means, but I'm going to leave it there. Alrighty, so the next one's going to be Leader. Leader increases the action speeds of other survivors in healing, sabotaging, unhooking, cleansing, opening, and unlocking by 15, 20 or 25% while they're within 8 meters of your location. So pretty much this is going to mean that if someone's on a gen with you and they're, repairing, for an example, they're going to benefit from this perk. The problem once again, is they're going to have to be stacked on you. So I'm probably going to put this perk into D tier, because obviously there's going to be other ones out there that are going to be more beneficial. But yeah, alrighty. Left Behind. It's not a bad perk, but I'm going to put it in D tier. The reason for this is this perk in particular is an endgame perk. It's going to be when you're the last survivor in the trial. The aura of the hatch is revealed to you depending on the tier of the perk. It's going to be within a 24, 28 or 32 meter radius. Pretty self-explanatory. Going to put this in D tier. Lightweight, where are you? Right down here. I'm going to put lightweight into probably C tier. I could argue to put it into B tier, but the reason why I'm going to put it into C tier is it's one of those perks where if the killer's actually physically able to see you in front of him, he's going to be able to, there's no point of the perk itself, but the reason why this is a great perk is it's going to reduce the scratch marks within a 1 to 3 second period of time, depending on the tier of it. But it's a great perk. It's a great starting perk you can get. You don't need it. It's not a teachable or anything. It's just a normal perk you can unlock in the Blood Web. It's very great for people who are just starting out. I would highly suggest using it if you don't have any other perks that are available to you. Overall, by all means, great perk. The amount of times I have been able to get away from the killer because he's lost my scratch marks, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a great perk. Alrighty, Lith. Probably going to put this into B tier. So Lith, once again, great perk. It's a Fang Min perk, just like the balancing one. So this perk is after performing a rush vault, break into a sprint of 150% of your normal running speed for a maximum of 3 seconds. So just like this one here, you get the same sort of sprint burst when you complete that certain requirement. So it does indeed trigger the exhausted status effect, depending on the tier, 1, 2 or 3, which will reduce the cooldown depending on it, which will be either 60, 50 or 40 seconds. If I had a option to use either one of these perks, I would probably use Lith because I'm going to vault more times than be jumping off a balcony or something like that, so I would probably highly suggest using this perk over that one. Of course, that's regarding my own sort of opinion and my own sort of gameplay of how I play the game, but yeah, 100% great perk. Probably going to leave this in B. Could arguably put it in A. Might even put it in A. Alrighty, Lucky Break. So, whenever you're in an injured state, Lucky Break activates. Bleeding and scratch marks are suppressed for a maximum of 40, 50 or 60 seconds, after which Lucky Break is disabled for the remainder of the trial. Another part of it too is when you are in a healthy or in dying state, it also deactivates. So this is a one-time opportunity within the game. You can only use this perk once. So on book, it sounds like a great perk. Really is a great perk. But the fact that you can only use it once, sometimes you only need just once. Basically to get away, and that's it. You've been able to get out, finish the game, etc. For the most part, though, you got to consider the possibility of multiple times you get hooked, etc. But because it's a one-time situation throughout the game, probably going to put this into D. If you could use it multiple times, I'd probably chuck it in B though. Alrighty, so we got Metal of Men. So this perk is after triggering your third protection hit, Metal of Men activates and you are protected by the Endurance status effect. So once again, Endurance is the status effect where it's the same thing with Borrowed Time. So with this, any damage taken that would put you in the dying state from the injured state is blocked. When you are healed again, your aura will be revealed to the killer whenever you are farther than 12, 14 or 16 meters away. So, it's not a bad perk, but because your aura is in fact revealed to the killer can easily turn around, locate you, etc. Probably going to chuck this into D tier though. Alrighty, so we got No Mither coming up. If I can locate it, which is right there. So this perk is you suffer from the broken status effect for the entire trial, but benefit from the following effects, which is pools of blood are suppressed, which again is great. You also get, when injured or dying, grunts of pain are reduced by 20, 50 or 75% depending on the tier. Same thing with this one, your recovery speed is increased by 15, 20 or 25% and you can recover fully from the dying state. Actually not a bad perk overall. You do suffer from the broken status effect though for the entire trial. However, you do get a lot of benefits in return. Probably going to put this perk into B tier. But yeah. Alrighty. Going into the next one, if I can actually locate it. There we go, no one left behind. So, this perk is a endgame perk. Regardless, gonna put this into F tier. Might put it into D though, but we'll see. So, once one exit gate has been opened, this is when this ability or perk will activate. So you've got to actually have the door open to be able to gain the benefits. However, there's a lot of benefits, so I'm probably going to just instantly put this into C or D. You gain a 30, 40 or 50% action speed bonus to unhooking and healing other survivors. The auras of all other survivors are revealed to you. You also grant an additional blood point bonus of 50, 75 or 100% for actions in the hit or the altruism category. It's not a bad perk. Gonna put it in the D tier though. Object of Obsession. So this perk is whenever the killer reads your aura, and for the same duration as they do so, Object of Obsession activates. So the killer's aura is revealed to you. Increases your action speeds in repairing, healing and cleansing by 2, 4 or 6%. And if you are the obsession, your aura is automatically revealed to the killer for 3 seconds every 30 seconds. So probably going to put this perk into F because the killer himself is gaining a lot of intel from this perk. But yeah. Off the record, which is going to be right here, which is after being unhooked or unhooking yourself, off the record activates for the next 60, 70 or 80 seconds, and your aura will not be shown to the killer if they attempt to read it. When injured, grunts of pain are reduced by 100%. So, not a bad perk, actually a decent perk. So I'm probably going to set this one in C tier actually. Probably could put it in a B, but I probably wouldn't put it any lower though. Alrighty, next one's going to be open-handed. Sorry, my throat's getting a little bit sore. Yeah, kind of recording all this at once. So, but last perk for this part 2 is going to be open-handed. So this one is open-hand increases all aura reading ranges by 8, 12 or 16 meters. And it does not stack with other instances of itself. So it's a passive perk that just is done over time. You don't need to do anything with it. It will just automatically happen itself. It does increase the aura of all reading ranges, so even that's with a map, etc. So it's not a bad perk in terms of getting knowledge. Might chuck this into D tier. But this is part 2, guys. I will see you in part 3.